Look, you're smart. You have likely resourced yourself with so many tools and strategies and tips to create work life balance. You listen to this podcast, you read books or audiobooks, you follow influencers, all with this goal of creating a life where work does not take over and where there is time for yourself and your family without any guilt. And you feel really confident and successful and present in all the things you do. But your intentionality has likely only gone so far. You know what you need to be doing, right? The boundaries, the prioritization, the heads down time, the delegation, the scheduling in time for yourself. You understand a lot of the principles, the things that are required to create work-life balance, but it's really hard to put them into practice. In today's episode, I'm talking about why intentionality and resourcing yourself with knowledge is not enough. And I want to offer to you the missing link that will make work life happen for you in the fastest way possible. I don't want you to go another day or another year of actually not enjoying the life that you've created, the most amazing life that you have. And this right here in this episode, this is what you need to do next in order to make 2025 the year that you not only learn how to create work-life balance and the principles, but actually put them into practice. Are you ready? Let's get to it. Working moms, hello. I am so excited to be with you today and to announce that the doors are open to the next cohort of Ambitious and Balanced. This is a 3-month group coaching program for career-focused working moms that want to learn how to prioritize their family and themselves first, while at the same time feeling successful, confident, and productive at both. Literally, in 3 months, I will teach you how to create sustainable work-life balance. Now, I only take 10 women into this program because I want to be a part of each of your journeys. I don't want you to get lost in a big group. I'm actually tracking your progress through the program and making sure that you are on track to experience the work-life balance that you really desire. The investment for the program is $2,000, and that includes guided curriculum, weekly phone calls, an app that we use to communicate within the group between our calls, 6 months of group coaching on a monthly basis after that. So essentially, you are getting me as your coach working toward work-life balance for the entirety of 2025, all season long, through every circumstance that comes up. Any part of the year, I am in your corner helping you to maintain a life that you feel really present and successful in. This is really exciting. I literally cannot wait to start working with you. 2025 is going to be your year. You are going to want to get into this group. And to do that, you need to sign up for a consultation call with me. To do that, you can go to the website, RebeccaOlsonCoaching.com/ambitious and balanced. And there you'll have all of the information, and then just click on one of those buttons that says sign up for a consultation call. Look, I want you to create work-life balance in the most efficient and fastest way possible. And when I created the Ambitious and Balanced group coaching program, one of the questions I asked myself was, how can I make this happen for them as fast as possible? And having worked on work-life balance, helping women, hundreds and hundreds of women over the last 8 years go through work-life balance challenges, I have developed lots of tools and strategies and processes to help people. But the question I kept asking myself was, how could I make this happen for them fastest? I don't want it to take years for you to have the life that you want to have. You likely are already feeling worried about missing out on your kids' younger years. You're already feeling anxious and worried about how you're spending your time and your energy, and worrying about regret and wishing there was just a little bit more time left over for you every day. Even today, I was speaking with a woman about joining Ambitious and Balanced. And by the way, she did. I'm really excited for her. But one of the things she said to me was, she hasn't been doing drop-off and pickups since she's taken this recent job, and she feels like she's missing out on those moments with her son. Look, if you choose to work, I don't want you to regret that decision. I don't want you to feel like you're not spending enough time with your family, like you're not doing what's right for them, right? That you're not giving them your best time and energy. I want you to feel so grounded in your decisions to work and when you work and be filled with joy and happiness in the life that you have. You have literally so many amazing things that are going well for you in your life. And I want you to be happy in it. Not months from now, not after the next billing cycle is over, or when the new hire is up to speed, or when your spouse helps out around the house anymore. I want you to be experiencing work-life balance right now. And I know it is possible for you because I have seen it happen for so many women that I've worked with. And the fastest way that I have discovered on how to do that for my clients, for myself, this is the heart of what we're going to talk about today, is being intentional, right? Now, I don't just mean through coaching, though we're definitely going to talk about that too. All of us tap into intentionality likely more than you think. And so I want to spend this podcast episode really talking about the importance of intentionality and focus and how that is a piece of the work-life balance puzzle. Because every time you read a book to help you learn how to be a better parent or how to manage your time better or how to feel more confident, you're tapping into intentionality and focus, right? Every time you listen to a podcast, this podcast for that matter, or any podcast on work-life balance or managing your career and motherhood or navigating the struggles of being a parent, you're tapping into intentionality, right? The influencers that you follow, the people that you follow on various social medias to help glean tips and strategies that you're looking for to better your life. When you do that, you're tapping into intentionality, right? Whenever you join or participate in a Facebook group or a mom's group or a community group or text threads with your working mom friends, right? You're tapping into intentionality. When it comes to work-life balance, intentionality is when you resource yourself with knowledge, tools, or steps that's going to help you create work-life balance in your life. So like I said, you already do this. You have a level of intentionality to reach your work-life balance goals. Otherwise, you would not be here today. In the back of your mind, you have a desire to be a better mom, to manage your life better, to make sure that you're living every minute to the fullest. And your subconscious is searching out resources for you to help you meet that goal. Because, of course, why reinvent the wheel, right? Because you listen to this podcast and because I already know you're a great mom and I know that you want to figure out how to have a real successful working mom life, you have likely resourced yourself with a bunch of knowledge on what it takes to be a successful working mom. You know that it requires prioritization, that it requires boundaries to say no to things, even when you have a strong urge to say yes. It requires delegating and asking for help. It requires commitment to yourself. And it's true that all of these things would likely help you to feel more balanced and more successful as a working mom. But if I told you, well, just go out and do them then, you'd likely feel pretty stuck, right? It's why you're here listening to the podcast. You simply haven't been able to figure out how to do the things you already know how to do because you've been intentional in resourcing yourself. You actually know a lot of things that you need to do, but simply having that knowledge is not what's actually moving you forward. Just like my client, Skylar, I've talked about her on this podcast before. She first came to me struggling with feeling burnt out, struggling to figure out how to manage her time well. And she had resourced herself with intentionality and purchased a bunch of planners, time management systems, because she thought that that's what she needed in order to create a life that feels balanced. But she wasn't able to successfully implement the systems that she even purchased, that she resourced herself with. She had the best of intentions. She had done enough research and been intentional enough to even think through some of the systems she thought that she needed, but she wasn't able to just wake up the next day and put those systems into place. I hear that a lot from my clients on their consultation calls with me when people are looking to join my programs, right? They just tell me, I just got to say no more, or I just got to ask for help, or I just got to figure out how to shut down my computer at 5:00 and be okay with the things that I didn't get done, right? It sounds so simple, doesn't it? My client, Sherry, who's been very successful really in her career up to this point, is so tired of being tired all of the time. That was one of the things she told me. She's midway in her career. She's like daydreams sometimes about retirement when she finally thinks that she's going to be able to rest and enjoy her life, right? So she reads productivity books. She follows various influencers. She tries to put into practice the tips and the strategies that she's learning. And just like Skylar, she came to me and said, I just got to put all this stuff that I already know how to do into practice. But there's something that these clients, these women, and all of my clients are missing, which is why their intentionality is actually not working for them. Intentionality is only half the battle. That only resources you with your knowledge, but it doesn't necessarily move you into action, right? And that's what it's going to take. You can't think your way, if you will, into different work-life balance habits. You actually have to do something different. Over time, your intentionality is going to help you make little bits of progress, right? You'll find tips and tricks along the way as time goes on to try to implement that might help relieve some things. But there's something that all my clients are missing, which is why intentionality is not working, right? Intentionality showcases your desire and your drive and your focus and your goal to be better and to not settle and to go after the life that you really want and really experience work-life balance. And over time, that intentionality will help you make progress, right? You will find little tips and tricks along the way. But as your kids are getting older or as particular seasons end, you might find it easier. Somebody you follow on Instagram will say something that makes kind of finally makes sense to you, and you'll be able to make these like little shifts, right? This could happen. Your intentionality could produce a little bit of fruit in kind of moving the needle more towards a life that feels balanced, but it's not going to happen quickly. Remember, I'm about helping you achieve work-life balance fast. I don't want you going another day experiencing burnout or feeling like you're missing out on your kid's life and wondering if you're going to regret all of these decisions that you're making right now to work. Here's the insight I have for you right now. The fastest way to achieve work-life balance is not just through intentionality, it's through guided intentionality, right? Having a guide that has literally been there, done that, teaches that can show you is the fastest way that you will achieve your goal of work-life balance, right? Any goal for that matter, if you think about it. If your goal is weight loss, hiring a personal trainer and a nutritionalist is going to likely be the easiest and fastest way. If you want to get a new job, hiring a career coach is probably going to be the way that gets you there the fastest. If you're somebody that wants to get over some of your emotional triggers or past hurt, working with a therapist is going to help you get there the fastest. If you want to build wealth and diversify your money for long-term financial success, it's working with a financial planner. If your child is struggling with math and you want to make sure they pass their next math class, it's hiring a tutor. When you truly want to get something done and guarantee that you will be successful at reaching your goals, tapping into a guide is literally the fastest way. Guided intentionality is what gets you out of, I just got to do better. I just got to do it. I just got to wake up tomorrow and do it. That type of energy, while it is intentional, it lacks focus and guidance. Like literally, how are you going to do it better? What exactly are you going to do differently tomorrow that will make a difference in you doing it better? What is your plan, right? A guide is going to ask you these types of questions and then offer their expertise and their best practices to not only make sure that you follow through with your plan, but to make sure it's an effective plan that's going to get you there the fastest. When Skylar started working with me, remember she was the one that bought all those planners and time management tools and stuff. I knew mastering her calendar wasn't going to be the first step, right? Instead, it was actually the thought of failure that was paralyzing her and sucking up so much of her time. It was her not meeting her own expectations and standards and then feeling incapable in the job and feeling like a failure that was actually a big cause of her time management struggles, right? So together we worked on that first. We worked on her confidence, believing in her capability, showing her mind of why she deserved this job, worthy of this job, could do this job, tackle this job. We built that in her first and then applied some of her time management strategies that she had learned along the way. And then, of course, some that I teach my clients as well. And in about 3 months, she was working less, not waking up anxious every morning, prioritizing her workouts, experiencing a much more open calendar, wasn't taking all of these like heavy, hard feelings home with her every day because she had had a guide to help her through the process. For Sherry, her tips and tricks that she had learned from books and from influencers didn't start working until she stopped caring so much about what other people thought of her. When she really was grounded in herself and her work-life balance vision and defining success on her terms, she became infinitely more productive. She was able to actually start shutting down her work brain on demand and prioritizing family in the ways that she wanted. I was Skylar and Sherry's guide. Now, I'm not knee deep in their life. And because I have so much expertise and have literally walked so many people through this and creating a life that feels balanced, I'm also able to see exactly what their problem is and solve it really quickly with them. I don't get in the weeds with them and their emotions. I stay above it. I see exactly the path that they need to be on, and then I help them get there as quickly as possible. Now, I'm somebody that has read a lot of self-help books, particularly in my 20s, right? I had a lot of level of intentionality, but I could never really get myself to do the exercises and the practices that they suggested. I'm assuming many of you are very similar to me, right? I needed accountability. I was intentional enough to resource myself with books and read them, but I would get stuck in the application of it all. And this is true for a lot of clients. They're a lot like me. It's not that you likely lack the ability to follow through. It's that you have a little thought in your head that sort of wonders, is this really the right thing? You have a little thought in your head, a little voice that says, is this even going to work for me? Maybe it won't work for me. You have a little voice that's in your head that's saying, this is hopeless. This isn't going to work. Or maybe your little voice says, you don't have time for this. This is selfish if you take the time to do for this. Whatever that little voice in your head is telling you, it's getting in the way of you taking your intentionality and actually putting it into practice to create a life that feels balanced and actually execute on those things that likely would help, right? The boundaries, the saying no, the prioritization of rest, the not logging back on at night, the taking email or Slack off of your phones, all of the tips and strategies you likely already know how to do when you move into guided intentionality, meaning you start working with a guide, an actual human being that is going to help you execute on work-life balance. It's all going to get like 4 times easier. I promise. Because research shows that when you decide that you want to meet a goal, right? That's like you put enough intentionality behind it that you state you want to meet a goal. You have a 25% chance of meeting that goal if you put no other systems in place, right? Just the statement of the goal is enough to give you a 25% chance of actually doing it. But when you invest in accountability, which means you have another human being that is going to ask you, push you, guide you toward that goal, the likelihood of you achieving it goes up to 95%. What that means is, because you listen to this podcast and because you likely have done a little bit of other research on work-life balance and what it takes, and you follow other influencers in this way, I'm going to say that level of intentionality gives you at least a 25% chance that you're going to change your overworking habits, stop people pleasing, stop worrying about what other people think, and needing to get everything right, and actually start prioritizing your family and yourself in the ways that you want, putting those boundaries in place and prioritization, right? But if you work with me, if you join the Ambitious and Balanced program, your chances skyrocket to almost 100%. Almost. That is the power of guided intentionality. Guided intentionality is not only the fastest way to hit your goal of work-life balance in 2025, it is also the most effective, meaning you'll have a lot less trial and error when you work with a guide. Look, the last cohort of Ambitious and Balanced is wrapping up right now. We're in the final weeks of our calls, and I have watched these amazing women start to truly prioritize themselves and their family while still feeling successful at work and problem solving for how to be just as productive as they've always been. One woman in our group took a full 2 weeks off at Christmas and was like truly off, never opened her work computer once. And she talked about how many memories she had and how restful she felt as she entered back into work. And she felt so like propelled and motivated when she got back into the office. Another stopped telling herself how busy and how hard life was all of the time. And instead, she refocused her mind to see how good she was at her job and how valuable she was at her company and how on top of things she truly was, right? It wasn't actually as hard as her brain was making it out to be. And this allowed her to spend a whole lot less time at night working and on the weekends working, because actually things started to get a little bit easier for herself when she tuned into the fact that she actually really is good at her job and she knows what she's doing, and she could just drop this whole like work is hard story that she's been telling herself for years. I have another one that learned how life-changing just carving out a few hours for herself in the week was, right? Everyone tells you, particularly when you're a new mom, you got to find some time for yourself. You got to take time away from your baby, from your family, whatever. But when she finally did, she felt like she was a whole new human, right? Much more engaged with her family, much more present, less rushed. She was more focused at work, all because she was prioritizing herself. Another in the cohort started to have really intentional conversations with her spouse about sharing the mental load and delegating more. She actually started to notice how much her spouse was actually already helping around the house, which made her feel much more on a team with her spouse, and the load felt so much lighter because of it. Another one really worked on her procrastination, a habit that was holding her back from making real progress towards some work projects that she had been like delaying over the last year plus, right? She was able to actually have this huge breakthrough and take massive steps towards her project goals that has literally been on her list for so long. And not only that, she has clarity on how to get herself out of that procrastination cycle in the future. I am just so proud of this cohort of women and the progress that they have made, and that I got to be their guide through it all. If work-life balance and putting yourself and your family back at the top of the list and have like no regrets through 2025 and feel amazing about yourself and the work that you do, if you are really, really looking to feel more satisfied and proud and joyful and just have the most amazing life, actually just enjoy the amazing life that you've already created, really, I don't want you to take another day, or I don't want you to let another year go by without you truly relishing in all that you have. If work-life balance is at the top of your list, I can be your guide. I'm only taking 10 women. I'm only guiding 10 women in this next cohort of ambitious and balanced. This is a 3-month group coaching program that starts on Monday, February 24th, but doors open today. We meet for 1 week, 90 minutes a day, starting on Monday, February 24th. I call this Clarity Week. This is where we're going to workshop the entire process and make really clear commitments towards your priorities, learn all of the tools that you need to learn in order to get back on track. I've heard from the women in the cohort this round how much they really loved Clarity Week and how that really set them up for success in the program. And then after that, we start meeting weekly for 3 months. And then after that, we meet the rest of the year on a monthly basis. So literally, I will be your guide this entire year if you join this next cohort. To get more information and to sign up for a 30-minute consultation call, which is the next step to join, you can do that by going to RebeccaOlsonCoaching.com/ambitious and balanced. Working moms, find a guide. It is literally the fastest, most effective way for you to meet any goal, but in this case, your goals of work-life balance. I would be honored to be that guide. If it's me, please do reach out. If it's not me, go find someone else that's going to guide you. I literally don't want you to stay stuck. I want this to be the year that you propel yourself into the most amazing life that you have already created and really, truly relish in all of the goodness and the joy that you have. All right, working moms, until next week, let's get to it. Hey, working moms, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I want to let you know that the next cohort for my group coaching program, Ambitious and Balanced, is starting soon. If you're looking to make 2025 the year when you not only learn how to create sustainable work-life balance, but you actually put it into practice so that you and your family come first without sacrificing success at your job, then this program is for you. I'm only taking 10 women into this next cohort, and you're not going to want to miss this opportunity to get started this year. To learn more, you could head to my website, www.RebeccaOlsonCoaching.com, @ambitious and balanced. This is the year where you feel successful both at work and home, and I can't wait for you to start. I'll see you next week. And until then, let's get to it.